Hello, Facebook, YouTube. Now, today I want to talk to you about, oh, happy God, Oween, to those that, love fearing the Lord. If you love fearing the Lord, you'll love God, Oween, Try to tell people. But, I think it's because it's a strange, name to associate with another, holiday. But we fearing the Lord. Fearing the Lord thy God. Fearing the Lord thy God. But I want to talk to you about, the Genesis 6 enemies. Yeah, that, we are not understanding and not trying to look at the situation. We're not trying to research things that, here's the thing, men got this stupid, ridiculous theory called evolution, right? That men was a monkey, and all of a sudden they just grew, and they, start becoming men of all of a sudden. This is stupid, ridiculous, because I'm going to show you how stupid and ridiculous it is. Well, they got this. They're finding out that the BC civilization was more sophisticated than we thought. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they seeing all these monuments that existed for a long time that was made by sophisticated people. That had a lot of things going on. It's just if you research, you'll find out how ridiculous that theory is about evolution. But anyway, there's the Genesis 6 enemies. Well, the Bible talks about Genesis. I mean, you read about Genesis, and you will hear about that the sons of God. Really, I'll skip to the, you research it, the angels, certain angels that, in the book of Enoch listed the 200 angels by name, came down and mated with the daughters of men and produced giants. Now, in the land, or they say the Nephilim, and the thing is, these angels, are fallen angels now because they purposely, if you read the book of Enoch, made an agreement to sin against heaven. They made an agreement to sin against heaven. Wow. This guy named, I don't know if I could say his name correctly, Samaja and his angels decided to go on the earth and made it with, the daughters of men and produce giants in the land. Now, check this out. There's a lot of evidence of giants in the land. I mean, there's a lot of evidence. I mean, a lot of videos in YouTube that clearly shows giants existed, and not only giants that existed at that time, but still existing now. That you finding a lot of tall people, just very tall people in the world. So I guess the guy with the evolution, didn't consider that reality of his theory, because there's a lot of giants. There's a lot of tall people, existing that, real tall people. But there's a lot of tall giant bones that was discovered, everywhere. I mean, in I think somewhere in Europe, they have this giant skeleton sitting in the middle in the town, a giant statue sitting in Europe. And it's like, everybody's wondering, were there giants existed in the land? Everybody's like, I don't know. Giant bone statue sitting right there. And giants been reported, bones all across the world. I mean, all across the world testify of the word of God that is written in the Bible. And it's like everybody's stuck on stupid. Were there giants in the land? Bones sitting right there, evidence right there. That's how, spiritually blind, blindness can do for people. That, people don't know how to really research the situation, But anyhow, I hope that you research what I'm giving you, so you don't take my words, because I could be lying to you. Yep, there were giants in the land, in America. Could you imagine giants on this earth right now? Yeah, they were walking around. Giants that reached up to close to 55 feet. And they said they found a giant that was close to, near 60. Could you imagine that? Near the size of the Statue of Liberty, walking on the earth. Probably the same height of the Statue of Liberty. Can probably, kiss the Statue of Liberty in the face if it was that big. I mean, if it was existing right now. Anyway, so, there were, let's say, fallen angels, and there were giants in the land, And all of a sudden, God starts seeing this increasing evil going on. If you study, Genesis 6, that their thoughts and their imagination, or I'm paraphrasing, imagination, it says through their hearts continually to do evil, and evil. And all of a sudden, God had to flood the land. Yeah, he had to flood it because it was just so much wickedness going on. And, and a lot of things was going on too that is not, that I want to talk about in that is not, that God hasn't put in Genesis 6. But I'm finna use Genesis 6, that I wish I can talk to you about a lot of stuff that is not listed in Genesis 6, but you will find in the book of Enoch, of the reality of a lot of, that, they were making, half man and half human beings, kind of like, Greek mythology, and Greco-Roman mythology that's really not a myth that you're supposed to find out in your research of, in the book of Enoch, that all these Greek mythology gods and goddesses, kind of, wait a minute, God and goddesses. I think God said in his Ten Commandments, he says, serve no other God. And how many times it says in the Word of God not to serve no other gods? Too many times. But, a whole lot of stuff, going on this time. Now, so now I'm finna, get you to what Paul says. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Sad that people still doing it. That shows that, how people don't have the love of God, because they wrestle against flesh and blood. But anyway, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood. But watch this. And, the thing is, what's supposed to, if you don't wrestle against flesh and blood, you're supposed to help you see the true enemy. The true enemies that are really against humanity. The true enemies that are really against humanity. So, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but principalities. Paul is giving you the order of the kingdom of darkness, or more likely the Satan's kingdom of darkness. Principalities, power, and against powers, and against rulers of darkness in this world, and spiritual wickedness in high places. Now, I'm going to show you how that enemy, I'm going to identify, which the light is supposed to identify the enemy. It's not supposed to find themselves doing things with the enemy. Is supposed to identify the enemy and say, oh, that's the enemy? Ooh, I don't want to be a part of that enemy. That's what you kind of supposed to do if you're operating according to the light, The enemies are, the principalities are really pretty much the first fallen, that got kicked out of heaven, Lucifer and his angels, aka now Satan and his demons. It went to angel to demon, yeah, got kicked out. And now these sons of God that are aka angels, if you read the book of Enoch, a man that walk with God, why would a man that walk with God lie, Uh, read the book of Enoch that talks about, the angels, 200 by name. These are now the powers, that against the powers, and Paul refers them as the powers, and the fallen angels. They are what you call the UFOs, and AKA aliens. Yeah, that you see around that exists. Yeah, they're real. They just might not be hiding, or you just busy probably wrestling against flesh and blood, and you can't probably see them. And of course, though, that I'm getting to the rules of darkness in this world, are not going to really, acknowledge them, but they exist. You want too many accounts to go on YouTube. They even, it's so bad that the fallen, I call them the fallen angels, aka UFOs, aliens. They got so many alien footage on YouTube that they have a UFO YouTube. They have to establish a UFO YouTube of so many accounts of UFOs and aliens. They have to make their own YouTube, because the television is not really going to tell you that there exists. They're going to say, does it exist or not? Or play dumb, about the fallen angels, that are out there. Yes, they're out there. And now, and research, don't believe what I say, just research for yourself. But the rulers of darkness of this world, I hope that this shouldn't be no surprise to anybody watching this, but it's this people called the Illuminati, and Freemasons, Freemasons. They're about the, Illuminati is about a family of people that, a serpent race, and I wish I could talk about that parallels to, the Genesis, 6. But there's a group of families that are working together. All these people are working together. They're working together as the Satan's kingdom of darkness, and they, you know about them in the music, and they are over everything of this world. They're the world, the system. They control the world system, media, everything. Businesses, restaurants, everything that's in the world, everything. That's why God says, and Paul says, be not of this world. It's just that simple, because they're controlling everything. But anyway, I want to go to the spiritual wickedness in high places. Now, the spiritual wickedness in high places are the giants, those giants, or Nephilim or whatever, the giants that die. They became spirits, and that's in the book of Enoch. They talk about that they became evil spirits. And guess who those evil spirits are? Are the Greek mythology gods. Yeah, the Greek mythology gods. Those people you named the planets out of, Jupiter, Mars, and evil spirits. Yeah, I call evil spirits, but they want to be known as gods. And guess what? Y'all worshiping them concerning in paganism and pagan holidays, and they find ways of trying to creep these these evil spirits to give y'all reasons, and they teach all that in school about them, and really they're teaching you a religion to follow, to worship these gods. But, you know, they changed names so because they try to hide in darkness. You know, they change all kind of names all through human history and civilization. They change names so you don't find them out because that's the way of darkness. They change names. All right, that's the message. I hope you know the enemy. So God be the glory here and forever. In Jesus' name, amen.